So, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the third session of the Women Entrepreneurs Program, the series of sessions on how to plan, design, and launch your startup. And all of you who already have a startup, how and what you can do to effectively scale it or increase, enhance your business proposition as well as your value proposition. So we had two sessions already. The first day, we all sort of looked at the business model canvas, which was a very good tool and an approach that can help you all with planning it overall, whether you are wanting to pitch to an investor or whether you are yourself wanting to see where you stand, where is your business position, and where you want to go. Yesterday, I think, was a very different kind of a day and a talk, but it was wonderful according to me because we had a lot of insights yesterday on the different kind of funding opportunities that are available to us as entrepreneurs, and some specific ones which are targeted towards women entrepreneurs. And Dharmendra ji, who is from CED in Gujarat, talked probably most of the examples from Gujarat, but I recall he did mention about a lot of other bodies and the district units in different states also, which do the similar work. And if you are not from Gujarat, then you could probably check their websites or visit them and find out a little bit more about the schemes that are handled by them or any of the NBFCs or the banks. So that was, I think, a good overall discussion we had. Moving further, very much you will see how it flows and fits in your the journey and the life cycle of your startup. Today we are going to talk about financial model led business strategy. So we have talked about funds, but the overall financial management then becomes even more important for everyone. And what it really means in this subject is about how financial modeling can help in the business decision making, how it can help you in your resource planning, in your new launch or any other product launch that you may have, or a product or service in whatever you are dealing with, your budgeting and your strategic decisions if you are already looking to scale. So all of these things would be discussed today as first part of the session. The second session would be on an approach called design thinking. So design thinking is a very scientific approach, which is quite a buzzword these days. Many of you would have heard about it. We are going to use the design thinking approach to look into one or two of the key elements of our business, and that would be the second part of the session today. And put together, we'll be able to help you to think how you could, generate more business leads in your venture. So with these words, I would like to begin and introduce you to our key speaker for the first session on financial model-led business strategy. I would like to welcome Priya Bhagat. She is the co-founder of an organization of a venture called India Biz for Sale, and she can talk a little bit more about it sometimes during the session, because you will realize how this particular venture is helping startups on one hand, investors on the other, and working alongside the corporate and established business houses together in the entire ecosystem. Priya Bhagat, she is the co-founder of this venture. She has done masters in international finance and then worked with a number of organizations in UK and in India before she chose to become an entrepreneur and co-founded this company. So with these words, I would welcome Priya to take over the session. And yeah, all yours. Over to you, Priya.
Great. Thank you, Piali, for the amazing introduction. And good morning, everyone. Nice to see all of you. And I'm sure you're enjoying these wonderful sessions, held by TIE Ahmedabad, American Corner, and CED in conjunction. So I myself have attended the first session. I commit that I sort of missed the yesterday's one due to some other commitment, but here I'm again. So today I would like to give my 2 cents on the business strategy. One thing is there, I mean, business strategy is a very widely terminology used, right? Everyone knows it's very heavy to hear when somebody talks about business strategy. So, and with the time limitation that we have in hand, I'm going to run through the most important overview in terms of a little bit more on the theoretical type, but theoretical side of things, but more on the practicality. Yeah, if you have any questions, we can always connect towards either the Q&A session, or you can reach me out when I share with you my contacts or the coordinates. And yeah, I would like to share my screen now just to begin the presentation.
One second.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll just 1 second. I'll probably have to. Okay, let me make you the co-host. Just give me 1 second. Yeah, you should be able to share your screen now.
Okay. Also, I would like to mention that English is going sort of very heavy from my side. Please knock me or just, put it in the chat box. I'll try to explain as much as in a layman language, thinking about, because this is more like from the business strategy and financial modeling. So there might be some of the terminologies used, right? So please meko chat box mein batana. I'll try to help in some or the other way. Yeah.
No problem. And I think we can go as a sort of a mix,
I'll try my best.
But I agree, many of the terminologies probably would be more in English, if that's what you use, but I think that would be understood by everyone. So
okay. Sure. I'm hoping you can see my screen now.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Just a moment. Right. So here we are. Okay, business strategy, right? That's what Piali introduced us in this at the beginning of the session. So just to make this session a little more interactive, and I'm not the only one who's speaking, so can you just give me your sort of ideas, few phrases in terms of understanding, what do you understand by business strategy? Yes, and let's make it quick so that it's more engaging and we yeah.
You want to put it on the chat?
Yes, chat please.
And my dear friends, we can do the other work post one. So let's focus here on what Haripriya has kind of prepared for us. So I think let's focus on this presentation and let's answer what she says. So.
Correct. And Tejal, this session is important for both of us. We also have a business to run.
Absolutely. I'm all ears.
Okay. So we have quite few answers coming in: cut costs, maximize revenue, planning about future, planning, execution, strategy on how to run successful business. Nice. How to proceed with business, strategy, planning, how to run the business, how to prepare for future different scenarios. Great, great. I feel that I no longer need to do this session because everybody has an idea of like where we are heading towards, right? So if we see that, okay, and what is business strategy now? In simple terms, let us define it as what your business does and how it does it, right? So idea is that you have this idea already in your mind, or you already have started off your business, or you are even running it successfully. So what is that? What exactly does your business do? How do you communicate that message to the outside world, to your internal stakeholders, whether it's employees, the management, so that people are on the same lines as what your idea is? and how it does it, right? So what is your business model? A little bit more about what we learned from Kruti ma'am in the past session about how actually it is done. So yes, all of us are correct here in giving me the answers on the chat box, right? So it is a plan, right, for achieving its vision. So the business vision, to prioritize your objectives and to optimize the financial performance, because at the end of it, it's always a numbers game. So you're running a business to make profit. Otherwise, we would be running an NGO, right? So end of the day, it's all about how do you measure your business strategy into numbers? How do you optimize that to grow it to the next level? Right. So, okay. Now, why do we need a business strategy? Right. So, idea is it's defining the big plan. So, big plan is your idea, right? Why, what, and how. Why, as we have seen in the past session, that it's very important to understand why you are running this business. What is the big motive behind you starting off? And why do you actually spend day to day so many hours running this business? That should be the ultimate goal, the big goal. And what do you do to achieve that? And how would you achieve it? All this together needs to be in a plan, in writing, for you to measure it successfully day in, day out. Another thing is, it guides you. It's a direction for you to see that you have noted down what your business plan is, and how, just to see you that you're not going a bit offbeat the plan, to bring you back to what you had defined it as. See, what happens is, like, when you're starting a business, within your day-to-day operations, you get bogged down with so many operational issues that you forget what your big goal was as a key management role, as a founder, as a co-founder. And many a times it happens that you try to deviate from what you had set it out for. So the business strategy plan is to bring you back, to tell you, hello, this is what you had started off with, so come back to it. As we covered, it measures your performance, your growth, to bring it to the next level, and make you more focused. So when we talk about business strategy, it's not only about the short term, right? The whole idea of your goal is the big goal, which is like your 5-year, 10-year, where do you plan to see yourself, to bring that focus back into it. It also allows you to drive decisions. When we talk about decisions, it's mainly that so you know what you have in mind, and to communicate the same to your internal as well as external stakeholders. So yani कि you're talking about like internal, मतलब your team, अपनी management से बात करनी है, your customers, when you're talking about the external stakeholders, if there are anyone who is invested in your company, i.e. the investors, how do you help to communicate the message of your big plan? That is why we need the business strategy. Right? I would like to cover very quickly on what Kruti ma'am had covered on the BMC. Okay, so which forms the very basic of your business strategy. Those are the 5 things, which is business identity. What do you mean by business identity? Yes, everyone, quickly. Quickly. I don't see anyone. What do you mean by business identity? क्या होता है? Brand of your business, image, brand image. But how do you create these brands, right? What is special about your business? Okay, so USP. Okay. So, but business identity is again, simple, who you are and what do you do, right? So the external market needs to understand what does TIE Ahmedabad, for example, stand for. What do they do? They're empowering entrepreneurs. So this is what it is about. What you are and what do you do? The clear vision, the clarity needs to be understood. Your market positioning needs to come out, right? So that is what we learned from, okay, again, right? What problem are you solving for your customers? Because when you have identified that business idea, you want to know what is that problem that you're trying to solve, and what is the solution you're trying to bring to your customers. How different is your solution from your competitors? What is the target market that you're trying to capture? There may be various different target markets, right? So this is the very basic of, I'm not going to go into detail about these, but this is the very basic of how your business strategy needs to sort of derive out of. Okay. Right. So all of this business strategy, okay, what is one thing that you do all of this for, right? What is that one big thing? Why do you do that? Why do you want to achieve that goal? What is the ultimate outcome? Exactly. Very good, Sejal. So for profit, right? So end of the day, money matters. So that is what I want to bring from today's presentation. Okay, from today's presentation, we want to understand that how do we meet that big, fat, audacious goal that everybody talks about. And to meet this, you need money, right? To run, you think you want to achieve from year 1 to year 10, this is where you want to go eventually. How do you go about it? You need to have resources, and for that you need the funds. So first, primarily, when you try to strategize that plan, you will eventually understand how much funds do you actually need, right? Where these resources are going to be met. So how much funds do you actually need now, later? So that defines when do you need that fund. So that is the timeline that we are coming to. So timeline matlab abhi if we must have heard, like, many startups in the news raising funds, many big corporates, many big companies raising funds out of big institutions, organizations. So when do they need that fund? So timeline kya hai? Abhi chahiye, baad mein chahiye, abhi chahiye to kitna chahiye? If you think that there are, like, I need 15 crores from starting my business, I need to set up this, I need to set up that, I need to hire a team and everything. But is all of that, do you need everything right now? But what is more importantly, how much do you need when? So the timeline of that, having that fund, is important. So that would eventually derive from your business strategy, right? When you're trying to prioritize your strategic objectives, that this is what I'm going to do in the year 1, 6 months to 1 year, 2 to 3 years, and that is how the timeline would come up. What would you do with that fund? That everyone would know, right? Because I need this fund, I know what I'm going to do from that fund. So let's say I need to expand my team, I want to get my products into newer geography, so expansion of my product, I want to come up with a new product, I want to diversify my services into another set of market, and that is what, I want to expand my team, I want to expand my office base. So these are the what of you need that fund for, that money for, that you have set aside. And what will happen with that investment? So what will happen with that investment? What should happen? Isn't this the most important element, that what should happen with this investment? Because let's say that if you yourself are not funding your business, so let's say you don't have enough money to make your business work, you may borrow, you may take a loan from friends, family, from external funds, from, angel investors. So what would these external investors who are investing, who believe in your idea and give you that fund to make it happen, what do they want to see? Yes, come on, quickly, everyone. Answers चाहिए. अगर कोई आपको बिजनेस के लिए 50 लाख देता है, what do they want? Returns. Okay. Profit. Okay. What do you yourself want? Strategy. Okay. Return with added benefit. So you as a founder, as a co-founder, as a promoter of that idea who is into business, you have the funds, you're making it happen. What do you want? Growth, expansion, benefits. You want the results, right? So everybody wants the results. The investors, they may want returns. You want to achieve your goal. The customers want value from what services or products you're sort of offering them. So everybody, end of the day, are looking to get something out of your business. And that is how it works. And eventually it's the results that matter, right? Okay. I think my slide is getting hung. Can you see it? Because Piali, can you see the next slide?
Yes, I can. The money matters, right?
Yeah.
Now financial model.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
great. So financial model. So how many of us, thoda ye technical hai, right? So I just want to know, everybody from probably finance field or probably running business, already may know the term financial model or may have worked upon it. So I want to know from our audience that, how many of us know about this terminology, and that will make me understand how deep can I go here. Okay. So yes, great. Yes, perfect. Okay, no. Okay, Dr. Acharya, Khyati. Okay. So we have half and half, right? Okay. So financial model, simple terms, it helps you to resource plan. So now what we see that we've already got the investment. Okay. Paise aa gaye hai. How do you sort of use that money? So this modeling, so it's basically working with the numbers from top to bottom. Yani ke, I thought that if I had like 50 lakhs of rupees, I can achieve like, 1 crore of revenue. Now that thought that you had that I'm going to achieve 1 CR of revenue through my sales of products or services, and this money is going to help me do that. How do you plan out that resources? This is just your idea, your assumption, right? That you will achieve 1 CR of sales. And how do you, okay, Sonal, I'm going to come to the Q&A probably after the end of the session. So let's hold on to your question. Okay, thank you. So how do you figure out so basically financial modeling is working on the numbers that helps you in the resource planning, right? Resource planning, whenever you're trying to, again, either trying to come up with a new product in a newer geography, all the strategic points in your business, whether you want to invest that amount that you have, got into new capabilities, like naya machinery, naya factory setup karna hai. How do you go about planning about every of this, every resource? So it's about working on your numbers, So eventually what financial model does, it gives you a set roadmap. Okay, roadmap could be from a short term to a longer term. So let's say, when I say short term, it could be month on month, quarterly, in a year, where do I see myself? That's very much important for the management team to know. The founders need to follow that year on year, quarter on quarter, just on a daily basis, to see that whether I'm going. So I had said that I wanted 1 crore sales. जो इन्वेस्टर ने मेरे को पैसे दिए हैं उसमें से 1 करोड़ अचीव करना है, 3 महीने जा चुके हैं, where am I at, right? So it's giving you a roadmap that are you on track to meet your goals, or how far you are from achieving that. It helps you to make decisions, like whether, I'll give you an example here. So let's say हमने 2 products launch किए market में, okay? Let's take a simple example from a restaurant that Kruti ma'am had also shared, right, with us. Like restaurant, if it were only delivery based, they were only doing, their business model was not like a restaurant, but it was a delivery, a takeaway, right? They can only do deliveries. They do not have dine-in as a service that they offer from a restaurant. And if during the term, once they have established into the business, if they had to make a decision that, okay, I'm doing very well, do you think opening a restaurant, having people come in, sit, dine in, to have a luxurious experience, is that a decision I should make? That could be derived also from when we work on this financial model. Okay. And when I mentioned about how do we see our roadmap, that is the roadmap ahead, right? But time and again, we need to measure that performance of the of the business in a numbers way. That, okay, 6 months have passed. Am I through with what I had set out in mind? Or, you know, I think I've already covered this, but it's an iterative process. काफी बार ऐसे होता है that, you know, I have an idea. I think I've started thinking about it. Now I've started implementing it. Now come 9 months down the line, I think यार जो सोचा था वो हो नहीं रहा है, क्यों नहीं हो रहा है? Am I going wrong with the thoughts that I had in mind that it will work in this way, but it's going the other way around? So in that, ये जो होता है ना कि कभी सोचा है कि ऐसे होना था लेकिन ये हो कुछ और ही रहा है या हो ही नहीं रहा है, why? So eventually your financial model में हम लोग assumptions, so we always assume, right? Assumptions set करते हैं कि ये तो हो ही जाना है. So we always think about, when we build our business plan or financial modeling, we are very positive. We make it very highly ambitious in nature. And when we actually try to execute it, it always becomes difficult and we see we are very far off. So iterating that process to see that where I stand and where I had hoped to be. So, you know, budget bolte hai. I had budgeted to be at level 4, but I'm still at level 2.5. What was that gap? Was I over ambitious, or is the performance not as per what I had thought? So it lets you measure. So you need to iterate that process. Okay, 9 months ho chuke hai. I think itna hi hua hai. Maybe I'll have to go back and rebudget to what I had already planned for. So that is what an iterative process is, right? Okay, so okay, I think I'm stuck again. Okay, no, sure. So all of this, you know, where I talked about assumptions. So based on the company, अपना जो business रहता है उसका, let's say जो भी हम कर चुके हैं, so it's the history, right? So let's say we are 1 year into the business, for example. I'll talk about India Biz. So we are 7 years into the business now. So the history or the historical performance, I have 7 years of the history of running India Biz. So ये जो history बनी है उसमें कैसा performance किया है, right? Plus the assumptions. about the future. So now if I think कि 7 साल से ये कर रहे हैं और अभी यही करना है, then how do I see myself growing, right? No. So if I see that, okay, this is where we next want to be. So if you're planning कि next यहाँ पहुंचना है, तो क्या assumptions डालने पड़ेंगे plan में कि you can achieve that next level of growth. But it could be that ये पहले नहीं किया है, तो उसके लिए we'll have to plan out for, we'll have to assume कि क्या होना चाहिए, क्या नहीं होना चाहिए. So ये assumptions जो होते हैं, it helps you build your future projections, right? And these projections help you to build the financial model. So now we are finally coming on to the real terminology of the financial model. So what does financial model include? Okay, उसमें क्या होता है? एक होता है past performance. So as I mentioned कि 7 साल India biz में हो चुके हैं, so I have the 7 years of traction. But let's say many of us, we are here starting out. So how do you take the performance? How do you take the traction, right? Because you're just starting off. So how do you think कि कोई history तो है नहीं, तो कैसे start किया जाए? But there may be someone who's doing something similar to you, similar to your idea, maybe not exactly the same, because all of us want to think about that we are always unique, we don't have competition, but that would be like ultimate lie. Competition nahi hai माने के there is no market for that idea. Okay, that's a very simple saying that we have even learned during our journey, our entrepreneurial journey, that whenever somebody says, oh, my product is the most different, maybe you're offering different services, but it cannot be that I'm the only one doing that in the market. And if that is the case, then there is something that you don't understand from the market. You need to do more market research. Coming back to it, so the idea is that you take examples of similar companies, okay, who are doing something similar to your idea or what you have thought of. So unke performance ka idea leke. So, and now where do you get information about such businesses? So MCA pata hai? MCA website. So it's Ministry of Corporate Affairs. Okay, so MCA is a government, I would say like compliance website. So jahan pe when we file our accounts, right? So wo MCA, they record this, the regulatory, they keep a record of these. Now for a minimum amount, a very nominal amount of 100 or 200 rupees per company, you can get the audited financial statements of these companies very easily from their website. Okay, I'll share with you guys later the website URL, but it's very easy to get. So the idea to understand about these companies, so all the private limited companies, the LLP companies, right? So it's easier to get the data or the financial statements of these companies from this website. Now the whole idea to get their financial statements is to see that how do you compare yourself with someone who's doing something similar, and to build your financial model based on that. Now we touched upon assumptions, right, to build the future forecasting, because now the next step is like, how do you take this forward? Now 7 saal ho chuke hai, how do we see ourselves for the next 3 to 5 years? Now, there are many ways you can build these assumptions. You know, there are different scenarios you could set it up, that you could say that I think that I could achieve within 3 years, like 10 CR. That could be like sort of ambitious, because right now I am at 1 CR. How do I see myself doing 10 CR in 3 years' time? It could be ambitious, right? So your assumptions would be built based on that. Or it could be moderate. I say that, okay, in the next 3 years, I would achieve a moderate growth of 5 CR. It's still not bad from where I am at 1 CR, right? Revenue mera abhi ban raha hai, sales ho raha hai 1 CR. I'm thinking that I could do 5 CR with a little quite moderate effort with the resources I have in hand. फिर है बेसिक कि 1 CR हुआ है, maybe 2 to 3 CR in like 3 years time is where I could achieve. So ये assumptions होते हैं. This is only one assumption I'm talking about कि sales का. Why do you think you could achieve 10 CR, 5 CR, 3 CR is what lies beneath it. मतलब यानी कि अभी सेल्स के बारे में बात की 10 CR, अभी वो 10 CR अचीव करने के लिए मेरे को कितने रिसोर्सेज चाहिए? आई नीड टू एक्सपेंड माय टीम, आई नीड टू एक्सपेंड द कैपेसिटी ऑफ माय प्लांट, I need to increase the logistics. So all these assumptions fall in place. But building up from top to bottom, यानी कि sales is my core pipeline, right? कि इतना हो रहा है, इतना कर सकते हैं, and that is where I want to set. So top to bottom approach बोलते हैं इनको. So पता है इतना achieve करना है, फिर किस तरह achieve करना है? How has to be the last in pipeline. You need to know why you want to achieve, what you want to achieve, and then how. How is literally the operational, the execution part of it, है ना? तो उस तरीके से it trickles down के अभी cost structure define करना है. अभी मेरी team, I have a team of 10 to 12 doing the services or advising or doing the consulting for these many clients. If I think I need to achieve the revenue of 3 CR, then I need to either expand. दो चीजें हो सकती है सेल्स बढ़ाने के लिए, either प्राइस इंक्रीज करे या फिर clients, number of clients increase करे, right? Depending on different business models, these assumptions can take place कि मैं प्राइस इंक्रीज करूं या जिससे जितने clients है वो eventually पैसा ज्यादा है, which is the sales increase हो, या फिर ऐसे भी नहीं होना चाहिए कि बहुत सारा प्रोडक्ट्स और सिमिलर प्रोडक्ट्स है मार्केट में जिससे प्राइस इंक्रीज करूं तो मेरे क्लाइंटल चले ना जाए. सो यू नीड टू अचीव अ फाइन बैलेंस कि क्या करना चाहिए, एंड द मार्केट रिस्पॉन्ड शुड टेल यू. मे बी टॉकिंग टू योर फ्यू की कस्टमर्स. हमेशा बिजनेस में ऐसे होना चाहिए कि जब भी तुम नया कुछ सोचते हो, right, you need to think that you should always talk to few customers who are very close to your business. They are very regular, right? This is my idea, this is what we are bringing next into the business, what are your views, what do you think? That market feedback is important also to build your assumptions, right? Now forward looking financial statements. Now financial statements, I think I hit upon this term earlier too. Now financial statements क्या होते हैं? 3 चीज. एक हमारा profit or loss. So let's ask the team here, how many of us know financial statements क्या होते हैं? Give me the answer. What is finance? Great, Vaishali. No problem, Ekta. We'll get to it. Okay. So financial statements is profit and loss statement, मतलब income statement. Simple term में ये है कि कितना सेल्स हो रहा है और उस सेल्स को अचीव करने के लिए कितना कॉस्ट जा रहा है. दैट इज योर सिंपल प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस स्टेटमेंट, उसको बोलते हैं इनकम स्टेटमेंट. और जो बचता है रेवेन्यू, विच इज द सेल्स माइनस कॉस्ट, इज योर मार्जिन, राइट? आइदर यू आर मेकिंग प्रॉफिट या फिर लॉस. सो द प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस इज वन ऑफ द फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स. ओके, दूसरा है बैलेंस शीट. Now, profit and loss statement जो होता है, month on month that gets revised, okay? But जो balance sheet बोलते हैं, वो that is only the position of your business at the end of the year. So that always remains the same, okay? I'll not get into the technical details about what gets included in the balance sheet because not all of us need to do that. You could have your accountants, right? the ones who look into your finances, they will be preparing those statements. Only thing you need to understand is how it is being made. You need to understand those numbers, that where it would come up from. So, and the third is the cash flow. Kitna cash flow, the most important thing, right? You need to have cash in the business to run your business. So this is where we are at. And yeah. So these financial statements, this modeling will help us understand that how much funds eventually you will need to make your assumptions into execution and plan out your forward-looking projections, right? The resource allocation, as I mentioned, के assumptions में के okay, इतने तक का sales पहुंचना है, then how much of would you need more people doing your, you need to hire more people. What is that further additional funds you may require? So that will set up all of this. So eventually all of this planning will help you in making tactical and strategic decision making. So when I'll just quickly touch upon here. So tactical is your very short term, which is like 1 to 3 years, right? Decisions, what very immediate or very short term decision. And strategic is your big goal, your 10-year, 5-year, 10-year goal. And this is where we are at. So I'm quickly going to explain you, give you a use case here, okay? And as we saw, okay, revenue segmentation, okay? Revenue segmentation is like, let's say, how if a restaurant has to sort of think about के revenue कहाँ से आ रहा है. So एक है restaurant में जो customers आ रहे हैं, दूसरे जो delivery orders आ रहे हैं for delivery. So that is where the revenue segmentation for the restaurant could be. The cost structure defines what are the expenses that is going behind making this sales. That could be the salaries, that could be the space that you are occupying. मतलब restaurant के लिए हो सकता है कि उनका जो restaurant है वो rent पे दिया है, so rent, the electricity, all the utilities that would go into the cost structure, the logistics to get the delivery for the outgoing. And eventually, when we look at the revenue minus cost, are your margins, right? So I think, let me show you a quick setup here, just to show what's the margin. So this graph, okay, is about a company, an elevator company. जो lift होता है ना, elevator, उसकी company का है. Okay, so you can see Otis, another one is Cone, and the other is Schindler. And we had a company, which was an elevator company, okay, based out of West Bengal. And they had come to us to get their business financial modeling and business planning done. So we had to take, so they were doing pretty good, and we had to figure out that how could they, what is the next level, what is the projections that they set out for. And this is where it said that we had to take comparables of few companies within the industry, within the similar industry, which is the elevators industry. So some of the domestic companies who were in the same domain, looking at their margins, okay, this is where we could see like Otis was doing 18% of the EBITDA. Now EBITDA is earnings before interest and tax and depreciation. Okay, again, this is like a terminology which we'll get into one-to-one if you want. And net profit is your final profit after all your expenses. From sales minus expenses, मतलब tax भर दिया, interest भर दिया, loan लिया है तो interest दे दिया, and finally that net profit is your final profit number. और EBITDA जो है, this earnings before interest, tax and depreciation. So net profit में अगर तुम interest, tax और depreciation add कर देते हो तो आपको EBITDA मिल जाता है. So very quickly on this. Okay, so this is where we are at. And so Otis was very high doing, and the other Schindler Cone company from the elevator industry, they were pretty moderate, and we had to take comparables. So when you take comparables, you could either look at like sizable companies or which are similar to your size or very small in nature, and take the average margin on these companies to arrive at where you could project yourselves in the market, because these could be eventually your major competitors within the same industry, right? I think we are running out of time. I'll have to cut a little bit short here, but I think I've covered most of the areas where I could, take you through these financial model. But see, making a financial model is tricky. This session is not enough to take you in detail about everything. But if you're looking for any further information, I'm happy to sort of, connect with you guys one-on-one. So yeah, thank you once again for, organizing this American Corner Thai CED. And that's for me for now.
Great. Thank you so much, Haripriya. It was actually wonderful and a lot of information. I know sometimes it feels, oh, there are so many things I'm listening to, but I think, when we go back and reflect, I think then, we start sort of relating to each and everything that actually is part of our business.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, it's difficult to cover, this topic within 30-45 minutes. And I think that's why I'm happy to take it with the team, whoever is looking into it, and we'll be happy to spend time with them.
I can request one more thing. I have seen that there are a couple of questions in the chat. So Haripriya, if you think appropriate, probably you could respond to those directly. And yes, I'm very happy to share your email ID if you would like. And if anybody wants to, like you rightly said, because this is not a workshop, but sort of, more like an overview of sessions, then definitely they can reach out to you and kind of understand a little bit more around all this, the financial different elements. So thank you so much. And yeah, we have quite an action-packed day today, because our second topic is also, something which would be very interesting, as it has been the last, sort of 40-45 minutes for us. And while saying thank you to Haripriya, and I'll be more than happy if you continue to be with us for the upcoming session on design thinking.
Sure. I'll continue.
Great, thank you, Haripriya. And so, Tejal, we have Dr. Megha Bhatt with us already. Welcome, Dr. Megha. I think you are on your status is on mute.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. And so
good afternoon,
I think
Megha,
very good afternoon. And I was just going through the participants, and some of the names are very familiar. So I am just very happy to see all of them, and some, as I know that they are from different cities. So I would be looking at, interacting with all of them, and as much of help as much as I can.
Yes,
absolutely. We have a great pool from different fields.
Correct.
And luckily, they all have a little bit of experience, and they understand what we are talking. So this is very interesting, and I'm really happy with the kind of the way it's taking up, the way it's shaping up.
One request before I go on to sort of formally introduce Dr. Megha Bhatt, though probably anyone in Ahmedabad, of course, knows her. We have created a WhatsApp group yesterday. I'll request Tejal, if you still have that link, and Tejal, if you want to share it once again, and that can even help us to get the questions from the first session now that we had. If you wish to put the questions there in the group also, I'm sure Haripriya will be happy to take up the questions and respond back to you on that.
Absolutely. I'll share the link with you all.
Lovely. So, very quickly, once again, I welcome Dr. Megha Bhatt for our next session, which would help you in the short term and in the long run in creating business leads by this approach and model of design thinking. About Dr. Megha Bhatt, she is a scientist who has then later on become an entrepreneur. The company she has founded is called Sci No Tech, right? Probably the science, knowledge, technology. I'm assuming
Correct.
that's the short form of it.
Absolutely.
Right, but what is most
Absolutely.
important, yeah, is to know what this platform actually does, and that's very interesting. This is a platform for experiential teaching of science and STEM subjects. It helps to develop, to build the scientific temperament and aptitude in children. It also helps children to think out of the box, especially from a science point of view. And she uses different kind of methodology, right from audiovisuals, traditional teaching, model making, experiments, experts interventions, storytelling, and also includes field trips wherever possible. And definitely this kind of a research attitude is something I guess we need in the children right from the, from their formative years. Recently, when Dr. Megha was one of the very few to get selected by IIT for a program where she learned scientifically on this thinking, of this approach
All
that
the
she
aspects of
today. Yes. So it's something we are looking forward, Megha, to hear and understand. I know you had a long workshop on this topic at IIT, but incidentally, have only 1 hour, but I would request maybe you could pick up one example that's important from an entrepreneur's point of view, especially because, at the end of the
absolute.
it's the business, it's our business leads that, gives us the profits and the margin and everything, as Haripriya was talking about in this last, some time. So thank you once again for accepting our invitation, and over to you.
Very welcome, all of you, and thank you, Pialiji and Tejal Ben, of course, for this lovely opportunity to talk to all of you. And I'm sure that in this 1 hour, I'm going to be covering not only the design thinking part, but at least the customer relationships and customer channels, and how to, lead that to the business channel. And finally, as promised to Pialiji, I will be covering even the pitching part of it. Okay. So, and pitching is something very, very integral for business, that how you can pitch to not only the financial ventures, but venture capitalists, but to the different institutes, and whatever you are doing, how to pitch and how to make somebody understand that what are you into, maybe in 30 seconds, sometimes in 2 minutes, sometimes in 5 minutes, and sometimes in 7 minutes. So it all depends. So pitching time is usually given to you, and exactly like that, sometimes in networking organizations it's just 30 seconds. So how in 30 seconds you should be able to convince somebody that what are you into? Okay, so I'm going to be covering that also. So let me start sharing my screen with all of you. And before that, I would be very, very glad if I can see few of you, because being a teacher, sometimes I definitely feel that I don't like talking to the wall. So can you just let me share the screen, please? Host disable screen sharing message comes. Thank you. Thank you, Dharna ji, Manisha ji, Dr. Acharya. Thank you. I really appreciate. Can you please allow me to screen share, please?
Yes, sorry, just 1 second. I will.
No worries. Yeah. So design thinking, meanwhile that happens, design thinking is something where you won't believe, but you can go on for 2 days, 3 days, maybe the whole program for 6 months happens in IIM for only design thinking. So imagine, my friends, that to understand design thinking, It's
Oh,
it's
sorry,
like it's something. Yeah. So basically, now can I share the screen? Yes, I can. Thank you
yes,
so
yes, you
much.
will.
Just a second. Okay, so I think we are good. And yeah, so without wasting a single minute, I think I would just immediately go on to the topic. So basically, we say that what is design and how it can be a way to success, my friends. Okay, and how can you implement in different aspects of business? See, basically in business canvas model also, like yesterday or day before, you might have learned value proposition, which is something very important. But all the aspects of that particular business canvas model are very, very important, and you can actually implement design thinking into all of them. Okay, so let us go ahead. So what is design? So according to all of us, we say that it is not aesthetic naturally. It is not an event. It is not a product. It is not even an experience. Then what is it? So design, if we say that design is something where it's not an experience, but design thinking is surely an experience. So basically, if we go ahead with this, see, being a teacher, I would always wish that, to give you with a proper example instead of just showing it into the presentation. It makes more sense for me to talk to you all. So usually for design thinking, the team exercises is being done first, my friends. Okay. So usually it enables every participant to understand the importance of a team, that how you can be very good at a certain aspect, but some aspects you may not be good at. Okay. So your team member should be such that, he may be able to foresee what is coming up next, or he may be able to plan better than you, he may be more organized than you. So basically team exercises are the very first thing which is being implemented for design thinking. But unfortunately here, if I have to make you understand this, we cannot do that. So let's just go to the reflection part of it, that usually after the team exercises, people come to the conclusion that, okay, it's a collaborative effort what everybody put in. Okay, whatever is being told to them to make. Okay, Tejal Ben will vouch for it that we had done many exercises with all the participants, when you are trying to implement that, make them understand what is design thinking. Now, problem solving as we go along, for every problem which is given to the participants, naturally they just go on trying out. Okay, and trying out together. So each one, if they take up a certain role, that okay, I will do this, I will do that, then things become much easier. If everybody starts doing it something, then too many people spoil the food, something like that, right? So so who lost and why they lost, or and who will, suppose somebody wins, a team wins, then why they could win. Okay, so that particular reflection is so very important, and everybody will understand the value of the teamwork. Okay, now suppose when you say design thinking, how do you define it? See, IDEO was the very first company which came up with an idea, and then later on Stanford, of course, vouched for it for teachers to learn and basically they say that how to propagate this particular idea, not only to the business but to all the people in different sectors, learning, even management. Okay, so basically we say that IDEO was the very first thing which came out with the definition, and then later on it was by Stanford. Then so basically it's a creative approach to problem solving that starts with people and ends with innovative solutions that are tailor-made to suit their needs. Now, so basically it's a methodology for which you say that it's for problem solving, but creatively solving that problem. Okay, and one can teach it to students as a framework for real world projects also, even for somebody who is doing PhD, somebody who is doing, who is coming up with research papers. Okay, so today, suppose if somebody is already into their MSc or PhD, where they are submitting the research proposals along with their small business idea, which is they are coming up with, they can definitely apply design thinking to that. Then suppose it is, if I say that design thinking is something very similar to what we do in science as a research. Okay, we start up with a question that okay, सिंपल छोटे बच्चों के लिए भी अगर बोलना चाहें कि छोटे बच्चों को अगर पूछे कि ओके इन अ ग्रुप ऑफ पीपल how many of us being in Gujarat, we may have more of vegetarian people. So children will say that how will we know? Then we start asking each one of them that okay, are you a vegetarian, non-vegetarian or vegetarian? And then you start collecting data. And naturally, say if there are 30 children, you will have an exact amount of 30 participants as a data saying yes, no, or eggs, something like that. Okay, so basically you ask a question, then you do a background research, you construct a hypothesis. Constructing a hypothesis means a smart guess you try making that okay, in Gujarat you will have more of vegetarian people is my smart guess, but it may not be correct. Maybe in my third standard it was a correct hypothesis, but maybe in my seventh standard maybe I was the only vegetarian one, rest all the children were vegetarian. So my hypothesis may go wrong. All right, so you test it with an experiment or collecting the data and either say yes or no. You analyze the data, draw the conclusion. Your hypothesis may align with your results. That means it may be correct, it may not be correct. Then you go back and make up a new experimental design. So this is a normal scientific research method what we look at. Now if we say design as a process, then that also has a flowchart exactly like that. It starts with what you call it to be empathy, and naturally then you with the empathy towards somebody in a society, you start defining that particular problem, and then you ideate that okay, to solve the problem I will try solving it like this. Okay, and you start making a product, which can be a product or it can be a service, and that is your prototype. Okay, and then you test it naturally in the society whether it is coming out well or not. Now it appears to be very difficult. Okay, but trust me friends, if I give you a correct kind of example, then you will understand and relate it to every point what I'm trying to put up. Okay, so let me start giving you an example before we come back to that. So trestle lab, Akshita and Boni, I want to actually give you an example. Just put it up in such a way that Akshita was with me in IIT for one of my programs. Okay, and that particular girl, see, basically that idea itself is so good that you start identifying a problem. Okay, so please listen to the story for 5 minutes, and then you will be able to relate with every word what I have put up in the flowchart. Okay, so Akshita and Boni, they were studying area of Nasik, okay, district Nasik. And there they were during the college days, in the weekends, they had a lot of time. So they used to go to the villages. Okay, so adjoining village, and there they used to sit and, help out the communities and all that. Now, one fine day, they met up with a couple who was completely blind. Okay, completely blind, both of them. And they happened to talk to them that, okay, how do you live your life? And they just invited that, why don't you come for chai to our place? Okay, and both blind as a couple, to greatest surprise of Akshita and Boni, they led them to their own house walking. Okay, and then inside the house they settled down, talked for some time, and then they said that, okay, do you have a child? They said yes, our child goes to school now, nursery. Our neighbor helps us to just drop my girl there, and so continuously talking to them, they just came up with a question that आपका जो ये अंधापन है वो आपको कहीं पे ऐसा हो रहा है कि कहीं पे आपको प्रॉब्लम क्रिएट कर रहा हो, या आपकी लाइफ में कहीं प्रॉब्लम आया हो, या ऐसा कुछ जो आप नहीं मैनेज कर पाए, तो वो लेडी अंदर जाके चाय बना के उनके लिए लेके आई, एंड शी अक्षिता ऑल्सो सॉ दैट शी वाज होल्डिंग अ कप इन सच अ वे दैट शी वाज ट्राइंग टू फील इट अप टू द रिम, कि उसने एग्जैक्टली 3/4 चाय का कप भरा एंड इन दोनों को प्रेजेंट किया, एंड दे वर शॉक्ड कि ये चाय कोई बनाता है, एंड शी जस्ट आस्क्ड कि आपको पता है? तो उसने कहा हाँ, मुझे स्मेल से पता चलता है कि हो गया है. And naturally that sound is very powerful when the chai comes up, okay, when it is boiling. So all that conversations actually helped Akshita to understand that okay, both of them are self-sufficient and they can live life. So they asked that kabhi problem hua hai? Then they said ki yes, प्रॉब्लम एक बार हुआ था जब मेरी बच्ची बहुत बीमार थी, और हमने डॉक्टर को मतलब हमने सोचा कि उसको बुखार है, तो हमने जो दवाई नॉर्मली डॉक्टर देते हैं वो वी केप्ट ऑन गिविंग. So we gave it for one day, and the second day, first day the child kept on crying, and the second day child somehow मतलब कुछ आवाज ही आना बंद हो गया, and then they both got scared. Okay, so they called a neighbor, and neighbor suddenly came inside and said that okay, बच्चा तो एकदम लाल लाल हो गया है. तो उन्होंने कहा कि अरे पर तो फिर अभी तो डॉक्टर के पास लेके जाना पड़ेगा. तो डॉक्टर के पास लेके गए, तो डॉक्टर ने कहा कि ओके कौन सी दवाई दी है, एंड दे जस्ट शोड इट कि ये दवाई जो आप हमेशा देते हो वही दिया है. तो ही सेड कि अरे ये तो दिस हैज एक्सपायर्ड बिफोर 6 months, एंड उसके एलर्जी के रूप में इसको सब जगह एंटी एलर्जी कभी देना पड़ेगा, एंड शी वुड बी फाइन. बट इमेजिन दैट फॉर अ लॉन्गर ऑफ period of time, if they would have kept on giving the same medicine, then the effect would have been very different. Okay, so this तो इन लोग को अक्षिता एंड बोनी दोनों को उनके साथ बात करके सबसे पहला प्रॉब्लम पता चला कि ये अंधे हैं, उसका सब लाइफ एकदम सेट है, बट अगर वो लोग चीज पढ़ नहीं सकते हैं या उनको पता नहीं चल रहा है, तो हमें ऐसा कुछ बनाना चाहिए एज अ कंप्यूटर इंजीनियरिंग स्टूडेंट या इलेक्ट्रॉनिक इंजीनियरिंग स्टूडेंट कि हम इनको कुछ मदद कर पाए. ओके, तो उन्होंने with this story, now let's try relating it to our model. Okay, so yeah, so basically here we go. See, basically they made a machine which is called as Kibo. Okay, their company is called as Stressel Labs, and there you just simply you just put up a bottle there, and it reads on its own and it speaks. Okay, so so that they can hear all the people who are blind, they will be able to hear. So precision to design to standardize image capture and output was the very first thing what they did. Okay, मतलब कैसे इसको ये छोटा सा मशीन उन्होंने बनाया, very lightweight and built for power and battery operated usage, which was very very easy, okay, for people. But now see, try and understand that how design thinking comes into picture. That they talk to people, that is the first added thing which creates the empathy in the society towards the blind people. Okay, that was our very first idea what we started with, that empathy towards a problem, okay, starts with defining a problem, and they defined a problem that okay, अगर ये पढ़ नहीं सकते हैं तो हम ऐसा कुछ बनाएं कि जिससे वो लोग पढ़ पाए या उनको सुन पाए, सिंपली सुन पाए, जिससे उनको पता चले कि ये एक्सपायर्ड मेडिसिन हो गई है. Okay, now what is design thinking and how do you apply there? So it's a gradual process, my friends. To evolve any kind of product, you have to keep on doing the process. Okay, it's not like something which is directly product oriented कि तुमने जो ऐसा सोचा, something like a tuition class कि तुमने सोचा कि okay, कल से क्लास चालू and you just start teaching and finish. नहीं, ऐसा नहीं है. Okay, so now they said that okay, अगर प्रॉब्लम ये है कि अगर छोटा सा बॉटल की जगह if it is a big box, okay, then what, okay, so what they made was that okay, big box also could be put up in such a way कि वो एक at least 1 मीटर की दूरी पर, मतलब जो भी होगा वो कुछ भी रीड करेगा. Then they thought कि अगर हम इंग्लिश में उसको बनाते हैं तो नेचुरली ये गांव के लोग कैसे समझ पाएंगे. So they started with 7 languages, okay, including Hindi and Marathi, because they started in Nasik. Okay, but then they also thought that in every state also there are different dialects. Like in Gujarati we have Kathiawadi and we have Surti and we have Ahmedabadi, and all the dialects are so very different and people don't understand everything in the village areas. And that's how they came up with 15 different languages, also Kibo speaking different languages. And then regional accent voice output also was being put up. And now imagine that they thought that, okay, kahan kahan ye bada sa machine ghum ke jayenge. Okay, so let's put up Keyboard Digital. Okay, so that is an app what they have come up with. So now it is in the form of app also. So continuity to an experience is always it's always a thing. Always understand that continuity to something what you are trying to give it as a customer experience. See, this continuously the customer part of it, I really wish to relate it to design thinking, and that's why I'm emphasizing on that continuity of that particular experience is so very important, my friends. And that is how gradually in these last 2.5 years they have gone digital. Okay, this is the now for the again for the design thinking part of it only, that never ever think that even if it is a single-handed business, never think that I can do everything. No, it's not possible. Sometimes it is a constraint. Finance is the constraint कि हम किसी को रख नहीं सकते हैं, तो starting में सब कुछ digital वगैरह खुद करना पड़ता है. I can understand that, but finally, you know, when you have thoda sa matlab spot ho ki financially if you are able to afford in terms of keeping somebody, then you must have different expertise. Here if you look, here you can see product development being a electronics computer engineer. Akshita herself worked towards the coding and all that, and Boni is very good at customer relations, and as you can see, Abhishek is the one who goes and pitches it everywhere, and web development content is done by somebody else, and Android lead, that is the him who might have helped for the app part of it. So I hope all of you understood that how you can basically, now if we go back to our slide, now you will understand this much better, that empathy, creating, then defining the problem, then ideating that, okay, this is what I want to make, prototype, that is that the machine, what the keyboard is, right? And then testing it with different agencies. And trust me, they first started doing it with a huge organizations like DST, CSIR, where, you know, they could get funds like anything, my friends. Okay, and people give you, if you have an innovative idea and if you're trying to solve a genuine problem in the society, then definitely people help you for the finance part of it also. Okay, now one more example for the empathy part of it. Okay, now this is about GE Healthcare. There the problem that all the patients, cancer patients, and especially cancer patients and other patients, children are also patients. Now whenever they go for CT scan, what happens is that in the CT scan itself, children are, see, we as adults also are very scared, correct? And because it's really scary and it makes a lot of noise usually. Okay, and that is how, what problem do you want to solve? So apart from doing the scan, which any MRI machine can do, the real challenge or problems were, what were the problems? Fear with children. How can we change that experience? Kids were really sedated. What can we do that they don't move without being sedated? Also, sedation is not a very good idea actually. Okay, so how can we avoid that part? And the room used to be really very dark, so what can we? And you can see that earlier in the observation part of it, kids were crying, they were really horrified, they couldn't stay in the same position for longer than 80 to 95%. Kids were always sedated because they will keep on moving and the MRI will not come out really well. Okay, so with this thought, with design thinking itself, how can you enhance the experience? Okay, so let me show you a very short video which is 2 minutes, and trust me, my friends, I have edited and made it so short that even if we try watching it for even 2 minutes, you will understand what am I trying to tell you. Okay, so it was by GE Healthcare team, and you can see that
Hi, I'm Doug Dietz. I'm the principal designer for global design at GE Healthcare, and I'm the lead designer for Adventure Series. The Adventure Series is really an activity that we've been working on to see what can we do around our diagnostic imaging equipment to make it friendlier for both the family and for young patients. We have large diagnostic imaging equipment at GE Healthcare. They're huge, and some of them make noises. Adventure Series is really looking at it really from the child's perspective, looking at where their anxiety points are and coming up with some really nice solutions that help those, whether those are visually taking over the room in a theme, like a jungle theme or a pirate adventure or something, as well as music that leads them into the room and coloring books. So we wanted to have elements that addressed all the anxiety points.
My name's Liz Auer.
I'm Duncan Auer.
Where is this? Children's Hospital of Pittsburgh. Well, we're here today for a CT scan of Duncan's sinuses. He's had some really chronic congestion and coughing. So we're going to have a look and see what's going on in there. And the pirate room was pretty cool.
Psychologically, the child.
The room was painted completely like a pirate setup, including the floor. The floor was like the dock with the water on the sides, and animals and things on the walls. And the CT scanner itself was like the wheel of a pirate ship. It's for a child, it can be kind of scary. You see things that make noise and look very institutional, and this is. You're not even really thinking about the fact that you're doing a procedure. Very, very welcoming, very...
really wrapped myself around this and tried my best to pull in some of the best people that I could to work with me, is that I always kept in my mind that frightened child that was going through cancer or that was really having some problems going through their scan. And that is such a tough thing for a little one. It's such a tough thing for a family. And I did put my heart and soul behind it. And it means a lot to me now that we have a solution, and that the solution is helping the way it is, and it's helping these families. And what a great thing to work for a huge company like GE, but show some passion like this, that we can do something for people.
Imagine that this is the product of design thinking, my friends. Okay, so basically when you have scientific approach to anything, now later on, after I finish with my presentation, it is not even half the way yet, but after my finish presentation, at that point of time, you will have an idea that, okay, is so and so, my sector is so and so, and how do I relate to that? Okay, so let's continue. First, see, I hope at least up till now you might have understood what is design thinking and how can an idea, okay, it begins as an idea and then you brainstorm with that idea, and with that brainstorming you come up with a fantastic solution. All right, so he is not the only one who might have designed it. Naturally, he will have a team where, you know, people will give him a lot of ideas. Those mothers who are with children, naturally, they will give an idea that, okay, my child enjoys pirate and my child enjoys Tom and Jerry and so on. So basically, brainstorming is also an integral part of what we call it to be design thinking. Then, so again, coming to our process, as you can see, what do you want to solve? Empathy building. For whom do you want to solve which problem? That is something very important. Then comes is as the ideation, which ideas could solve the problem really well. Then prototyping, what exactly is the solution we are coming up with? And then naturally testing, what does the user think about your solution? Okay, and that is also a very, very important part. And that is where we are coming to, where, you know, design thinking, you have to relate it to customer experiences, that you may think that your product is excellent. You may think that you are too good with whatever you are giving to the society, but probably customer need is something else and you have to adjust accordingly. Okay, and I'm going to give you that example also in my case when I pitch, right? So basically, here we again go that a method of focusing innovation on people and designing based on what people need and want, what people like or dislike in regards to production, packaging, marketing, retailing, support, even the digital marketing part of it, how people want it, that is also very difficult. That is also very crucial to understand, that how people want it, that you have to be regular enough, but not so much regular that people will get bored of it, right? So basically what happens is that everywhere you can apply design thinking. So skill that allows a designer to align what people want with what can be done and produce a viable business strategy that creates customer value and market opportunity. All right. So I think, see, I would, this particular part where I already gave you two examples, one Indian examples, I can give you few more Indian examples of different sectors, I think, instead of giving you Steve Jobs example, which is something very common. So I think I may skip this part. So basically we say that design and design thinking, what is the difference? Okay, so design is usually restricted to the individuals and restricted to the product, and it is made out of your engineering mind and relating art to that. But what is design thinking, my friends? It is a teamwork, okay, and it is all about the customer experience, not about the product. Okay, मतलब इसका मतलब एकदम सा सिंपल सा एग्जांपल ले लेते हैं कि अगर मैंने ऐसे कहा कि इफ आई से दैट okay, your product is a mixer grinder, okay, your product is a mixer grinder, then design is a mixer grinder, but what is design thinking? वो मिक्सर ग्राइंडर में आप जो जूस बनाते हो और आपका कस्टमर वो जो जूस पी रहा है उसको वो जूस ठीक से मिला है कि नहीं है, ओके, सो उसके लिए उसको अगर ब्लेड बदलना है, उसको अगर कुछ और करना है वो मिक्सी के अंदर, ओके, सो आप ब्लेंडर नहीं यूज कर सकते हो उसके लिए, राइट? अगर आपको एब्सोल्युटली फाइन ग्रेवी बनाना है तो नेचुरली आप बॉस नहीं यूज कर पाओगे, बॉस यूज करोगे तो उसमें जो मतलब पार्टिकल्स रह जाएंगे which your customer doesn't want. Okay, so you have to basically you have to give an example, rather let's come back to the presentation one more time, where you know we are trying to relate with whatever is around us. Okay, so here you can say that technology, business and human mindset, that what a human being want, okay, as a need, that is what is being considered majorly. Okay, naturally using technology and its business, but still design thinking is something very different than a design, what we call. Okay, so my dear friends, and it could be implemented in any business what you are into, right? Now when world is talking about innovators, naturally innovations are done by innovators individually, but if it is a teamwork, then only innovation can survive. Okay, individually it cannot. There are very few examples which you can give which can individually survive. Okay, without a team nobody can survive. Now suppose a simple example, what is this? Now if I tell you that babies in world over are born premature, where there is a rate of around 44% which are born premature, okay, in a normal delivery also. Now this is infant thermoregulator which is being made, okay, which is a product of design thinking, my friends. Okay, so if we go ahead and see, then we say that in developing countries 80% of all premature and low birth weight infants are born far away from hospitals and traditional incubators. मतलब जो 40% premature birth होता है उसमें से भी 80% वो विलेजेस लेवल पे है, मतलब बहुत दूर है सिटी से, जो लोग अफोर्ड ही नहीं कर पाते हैं अपने बच्चे को हॉस्पिटल तक ले आना, महीने 2 महीने तक हॉस्पिटल में, अगर 6 मंथ्स में बॉर्न हुआ है तो जब तक बच्चा घर नहीं ले जा सकते, इट इज ऑलमोस्ट 8 मंथ्स, राइट? सो 2 मंथ्स तक हॉस्पिटल में रखना वो लोग अफोर्ड भी नहीं कर पाते हैं. Very simple solution which is being given where the temperature could be maintained, okay, and people can manage it at home also. So this is a kind of product which is a design thinking product, my friends, and it was a very lovely example actually, and that's why I thought of just showing you an idea. Okay, so many problems. Now if we conclude this particular part and go to the next part, which is supposedly the business lead. Okay, so now there are many problems. How to identify the problem? There are many problems in the world today. Okay, there is a technology shift. Naturally, technology shift could be one major reason right now, where education sector, if we see, it has completely turned online, correct? We never ever thought, trust me, being an educator myself, I never thought that I was very techno savvy and I could, go on online. I always thought that, okay, we'll make up a video, and as a business proposal, we'll also go virtual sometime. I also thought that, but I was not very keen about it because I'm not very techno savvy person as such. Okay. But so time teaches you everything. And with technology shift, you have to naturally, online education is the major example of that. Then coming to shifting demographics, naturally you can see around you that nuclear families are rising day by day. Joint families are decreasing, and that's how you can see that even in the commercials or the advertisements which are coming on the television. Earlier they used to focus on families like pan parag kha ke jaiye, something like that, but now they are focusing on the nuclear families where mama is focusing on Horlicks to give it to the child or something like that. But then, because of the shifting demographics, all the products also have to shift, their idea of what actually your customer want. Okay. And who is your customer? There is a lot of disposable income, and that is also one of the reason for shifting demographics. Then you can say market shifts. Like this is a very beautiful example which is very simple, you will understand it now. That my husband is into textiles. Okay. So earlier, and he was looking at denim and cotton part of chinos and all that. But now everywhere suddenly the demand for cotton and all that has tremendously come down, and the demand for the knits kind of material, okay, what we wear in pajamas, as a night suit usually, or a t-shirts, that has increased. Okay, suddenly. Why? Because we all are at home, probably for we have very few occasions. If we are into such formal programs, then we naturally dress up. But otherwise, there are a lot of changes in our lifestyles also. And that's how, the market shift, one must study the market shift. One must study the problems, nearby you, and then coming up with a solution which you are catering to for the current period of time. And that also current period of time, you have to be very, very clear in your mind that that particular current problem, whether it is a temporary problem or it is a permanent problem. So right now we are passing through a temporary phase. So it is something where naturally my offline classes, I will not shut it off because I'm doing online education now. Correct? So you have to keep in mind whether that particular problem is temporary or whether it is, but we have no idea up to how much time we have to keep on going like this, right? So design thinking develops solutions which are innovative, which are humans, which are with human-centered ideas. And you can see that the three products, what you saw, naturally they inspire others to think, okay, especially the children, okay, they to think that how you can solve problems around you itself. Okay, now you already learned business canvas model, my friends, and it has many parts, right? As you might all have studied, you can see that this particular business canvas model, naturally it has what do you call the different parts on the left, right, top and bottom. Correct? Now if we look at it in general, then it looks something like this. Okay, and which you already have studied yesterday. But you can see that focusing on this part where you are talking about customer relationship, what type of interaction will your customer expect to have with you, what are the different customer channels, how will you find your customers, how will you get products to them. There is a customer segment who are able to pay you, somebody who are not able to pay you but still you want to cater them. So how are you going to do that? How large is the group? Okay, and suppose if you want to go for a mass module or you want to go for a niche module, all that you have to decide. Correct? So basically, when you make up what you call it to be a business canvas model, you should be very clear with what you want to do and what you are up to. Okay, so that is one thing. Now, I hope the most important part is the value proposition part of it, my friends, but that has been covered on the first day. Basically on how you can project your idea, how you can, it can be for students, it can be even your thesis statement or even hypothesis. Okay, now about intent of the phase, we say that who is your stakeholder. Okay, you try and understand that, okay, whom are you trying to cater? Are you trying to cater to the parents? Suppose in my case, I'm directly dealing with children. But for admission, naturally, we have to, the parents are the decision makers, correct or not? So basically stakeholders there are parents who are the decision makers, whether they want to enroll their children with me or not, as simple as that. Okay. But at the same time, if I'm catering to the school for my science clubs, then my stakeholder is a school trustee. Okay. So suppose for a birthday party, it's a B2C direct, not B2B, but B2C kind of business, what I'm talking about, where I'm directly dealing with a customer whose birthday is there, whose birthday party I'm implementing. Okay. So to understand your stakeholder is something very, very important. Then what journey do they experience? That you must understand and empathize towards it. Right now, so many of my students, okay, they are passing through this bad phase where their parents are having COVID, they themselves are having COVID, they are isolated because their parents are having COVID. So their mindset itself would be very different for, to take up the learning at that point of time. So if I begin my class just like, how are you all bachas? What is the news for today? If they say that, okay, my parents have COVID, I will say that all are with you. Don't worry, everything will be fine. And next week you will say that now I am with my mama, right? So basically you try and empathize in such a way that imagine a better future state for them, and then try defining your problem, that how do you wish to go about it. Okay. So now for design thinking, I would like to show you the last example in the form of video. Okay. But that is actually it's a 8-minute video, which I'm going to forward a little, but still it will be around 5 minutes. But I would definitely like to mention that this is an ideal example of design thinking, where all my dear people, okay, normally ladies में ऐसा होता है कि suppose हम अगर suppose if I do blouse teaching, okay, yeah, one very simple example. तो मुझे ऐसा होता है कि मेरे इतने अच्छे अच्छे प्रोडक्ट्स हैं, तो हम नॉर्मली बाजू वाले को भी नहीं दिखाएंगे, कि आपको लगेगा कि दे विल स्टार्ट कॉपिंग. एंड इंडिया में ऐसा होता है. ओके, मतलब सपोज यू आर ट्राइंग टू मेक खाखरास, then naturally sometimes it so happens that somebody who is into cooking, you will not send your khakra samples to them because you may feel कि वो ऐसा सेम कॉपी कर डालेगा, है ना. और ऐसा हुआ. बट देखने की बात ये है कि अगर उनको आप दे पाओगे एंड फिर भी अगर वो आपको कमेंट कर पाए कि पानी पूरी खाखरा वाज मोर टेस्टिंग लाइक अ चाट मसाला एंड नॉट पानी पूरी मसाला, ओके, देन देयर कमेंट्स आर मोर वैल्यूएबल देन एनी अदर क्लाइंट. ट्रस्ट करो मुझे. ओके, सो लाइक दैट फॉर अ डिजाइन थिंकिंग प्रोसेस आल्सो, ट्रस्ट मी माय फ्रेंड्स, you have to rely on something, everybody's opinion as per their expertise. Okay? That is the reason that we are going to be watching this particular video, where I will forward it and make it around 4 to 5 minutes, but it will make you understand that what is actually design thinking. My constraint is time, my friends. I hope you all will understand why am I trying to go really fast, because I want to still cover the pitching part of it also. Okay, so let us look at this particular video. And,
the deep dive, one company's secret weapon for innovation. What happened next?
Silicon Valley, and these
art project.
This is Palo Alto, California, in the heart of Silicon Valley, and these are designers at IDEO, probably the most influential product development firm in the world. IDEO has designed everything from high-tech medical equipment to the 25-foot mechanical whale in the movie Free Willy, and the first computer mouse for Apple. Smith ski goggles, Nike sunglasses, NEC computer screens. Hundreds of products we take for granted.
The point is that we're not actually experts at any given area. You know, we're kind of experts on the process of how you design stuff. So we don't care if you give us a toothbrush, a toothpaste tube, a tractor, a space shuttle, you know, a chair. It's all the same to us. We want to figure out how to innovate by using our process, applying it.
Project leader is Peter Skillman, a 35-year-old Stanford engineer. Project leader because he's good with groups, not because of seniority. He's only been at IDEO for 6 years. The rest of the team is eclectic, but that's typical here. Whitney Mortimer, Harvard MBA. Peter Coughlin, linguist. Tom Kelly, Dave's brother, marketing expert. Jane Fulton-Suri, psychologist. Alex Kazaks, 26, a biology major, who's turned down medical school 3 times because he's having too much fun.
A team of different expertise, you can see, okay, from different strata. One is psychologist, one is an engineer, one is a graduate, but he has some different interests. So
At IDEO, safety emerges early as an important issue.
22,000 child injuries a year, which is, and so they're hospitalized injuries. I mean, there are many others.
And theft. It turns out a lot of carts are stolen. As the team works, it becomes clear there are no titles here, no permanent assignments.
And the other side says, that gives us a lot of help, says, be safe.
They are trying to study the current kind of cart. Okay, it's a shopping cart project what they are handling, and they are trying to see that this is the cart what people are using right now. Okay, and what is actually the customer need, or what should be given to them as for better experience.
I'll give you a big red ball on a post, and that says you're a big guy. If you got a ball, you're a senior vice president. You know, what do I get? The desk, the red ball, it's all the same. In a very innovative culture, you can't have a kind of hierarchy of here's the boss and the next person down, the next person down, the next person down, because it's impossible that the boss is the one who's had the insightful experience with shopping carts. It's just not possible.
The team splits into groups to find out firsthand what the people who use, make, and repair shopping carts really think.
Team exercise being the first step to design thinking, my friends.
Go.
The problem with the plastic cart is the wind catches it. Yeah. And these things have been clocked at 35 across the parking lot.
Oh, man, that's actually a pretty good point. The trick is to find these real experts, and so that you can learn much more quickly than you could by just kind of doing it the normal way and trying to learn about it yourself.
From everything I read, these things aren't that safe either.
She being a psychologist, she's continuously clicking the pictures.
No. So probably the seat itself is going to have to be redesigned.
One of the interesting things for me is looking at how people really don't like to let go of the cart, except for the professional shopper, whose strategy is to leave the cart at various places.
3:30 in the afternoon, and the group is back at IDEO. There is no let-up.
Each team is going to demonstrate and communicate and share everything that they've learned today.
A shopping cart has been clocked at 35 miles an hour traveling through a parking lot in the wind.
We were in the store, 2 hours, and it was truly frightening just to see the kind of stuff going on.
You ought to designate some people to make damn sure that the store owner's point of view is represented.
After 9 straight hours, the team is tied on the walls.
So again,
oh, the blind, the privacy blind, like when your planner succeeds over the
continuously for
it's a messy process.
3 days they brainstorm and they come up with different types of cards. Okay, so this is the first variety.
The customer, as you pull it off the shelf, would scan each
because
item.
he thought that there were big lines and people had to wait for a longer period of time. So self-scanning wala cart usne banaya. The lady, you know, kind of a cart where the babies could be accommodated.
That's built around child safety, and another that lets shoppers talk to the supermarket staff remotely.
Yeah, where can I find a yogurt?
But the adults, again, decide more work needs to be done before the mock-ups can be combined into one last prototype.
Why don't we have all the carts come up here for a second?
I think you take a piece of each one of these ideas and kind of back it off a little bit and then put
together a design that finally does work.
Very good.
There it is! So we took the best elements out of each
So this is the cart which is being formed using idea, self-scanning idea to keep the babies, to separate everything. The people could talk to the person at the counter.
The cart, which is designed to cost about the same as today's carts, is different in every other way. What do you think?
Well, I'm very proud of the team. I think it's
so
great.
Basically, we say that in this particular product, you could see that it was a combined idea and how everybody could contribute for better, right? So now let's go back to our presentation. And yes, here we are. So design thinking is product itself. So this brand itself is a big product. Okay, and you now know that David Calley's design, okay, IDEO is very, very popular, which is in Palo Alto, next to San Francisco somewhere. Okay, so to understand and observe was the first phase, to understand the current market, what are you currently people are using it, what are their likes, dislikes, current techniques, what was the history, how was it earlier, was it better, and if it was better, which point was better, all that is being considered. Okay, phase one is visualize and realize, and then you can say evaluating and refining, all that we already discussed. So if we come back to the design thinking part of it, my friends, just for you to have a recap, I have put up a third slide for this, that to understand, then to explore, and then to materialize. After testing, you have to implement your startup, and it has to go like a rocket naturally, but you cannot have a big thought right from just climbing a ladder just so very fast of success. It can happen that way. It is just like design thinking, it's a gradual process. Okay, so basically the result is IDEO is one of the top 25 innovative companies now, as you can see, and winner of 38 Red Dot Awards. Okay, so what is our takeaway for today as far as design thinking goes? So it revolves around a deep interest in developing an understanding of the people for whom we are designing the product, my friends, right? कि हमने design सोच उन लोगों के विकास और समझ में गहरी रुचि के इर्द गिर्द घूमती है जिनके लिए हम उत्पादों का सेवाओं को डिजाइन करते हैं. सो हम प्रोडक्ट और सर्विस जिनके लिए डिजाइन कर रहे हैं उन्हीं के आजू बाजू वो घूमनी चाहिए. Then design thinking is a technique that encourages the creation of alternatives and opens up more possibilities around problem solving. કે ડિઝાઇન વિચાર એક એવી તકનીક છે કે જે વિકલ્પોની રચનાને પ્રોત્સાહિત કરે છે. मतलब आपको ऑल्टरनेटिव्स देती है. ओके, कि एंड ऑल्टरनेटिव मे बी बेटर भी हो सकता है ना. एंड रादर देन रिफाइनिंग द फर्स्ट आइडिया, डिजाइन थिंकिंग enables people to generate multiple prototypes, iterative models of a concept, assumption or testing or learning. I'm going to give you my own examples that for my marketing strategy, I have never put up any brochures, any flyers anywhere, my friends. But in last 2.5 years, I have finished doing now more than 550 workshops all around in clubs, schools, everywhere. But there, I also learned an idea that, okay, in workshops, I can 7 to 14 years of students together. Please mute yourself.
Who's the male voice that I'm getting? Please mute yourselves, ladies.
Everyone is muted, ma'am.
Yeah, I did. So
that should be practiced. Thank you so much. So that should be practiced to apply design thinking to the search and validation of value proposition and all the aspects of your business model, as we discussed, right? See, I've put it up in 3 languages because anybody can relate to whatever is your language. And that is how I feel that I want you to understand every aspect of it, even if it is a short time. If you have any questions, you might as well note it down. Once I finish, I will take up all your questions also. Okay. So the next is, so again, the difference between building and designing. This is the moral of the whole story, my friends, that what is the basic difference between building and designing? When you build or engineer a solution, you have a fixed goal. Okay, but design is a process through which you discover the solution. So I would really like to give you an example that, okay, with workshop, I could cater to the audience, which was say 7 to 12 years together. Okay, now everyone, if I show volcano, then what if they are coming to me next time? Nothing to show, right? So I had to, the process is like slowly and steadily it builds up that, okay, I thought that I should have a graded program where what they are doing in grade 3, same things are not repeated in grade 4. It has to be a little bit advanced. Okay, and what they're doing in grade 4, naturally grade 7, even if it is the same concept, it has to be graduated. So basically the graded program was the idea which developed gradually. It was not the first idea what I started with. Okay, so if we actually differentiate design as well as design thinking, design could be open, observant, future focused. It's a process, as we saw. But design thinking is not new, my friends. We have been doing it since years. Only thing is we have to practice it now, okay? And we have to study it in such a way that how can you make your product or service better, implementing design thinking in that. All right. And then now apply design thinking to create ultimate customer service. Now see, basically here we are focusing on giving the lasting customer experiences, okay? That customer should always remember that, okay, अरे मैंने इसके पास से लिया था या मैंने इसके पास से पढ़ा था. Okay, so for that you have to shifting your business focus from a product centric to a customer centric company. Okay, and you must your what customer experience design is and why it matters, delivering basically delivering the optimal customer experience is both like omni-channel, that is from multiple channels, and situational. Customer experience is design pitfalls to avoid. Always remember that you must identify your own pitfalls, okay? That this is the pitfall, I'm going to come over that, okay? And I will give you my own example for all this. How to enable customer experience using design thinking in your organization, okay? So basically, to generate business leads also, for the customer experience, you have to give human design thinking for that. Now, it can be in 3 ways, my friends. First is generating the need. Okay, that was done by Apple, Steve Jobs himself, that you innovate a product in such a way that it was not needed when Walkman or tape recorder was on, but still people started using iPod who could afford it. Right? So it is generating a need by giving a fantastic innovative product, what you say. Then identifying a customer need and offering them services accordingly, fulfilling their needs is one idea to give a nice customer experience. And the third idea is that you try pitching for funds and for giving better customer experience. Suppose in my made scientific laboratories in my academy itself, but I really want to make it better, and for which I need funds. So for that, I need to pitch somewhere and say that, okay, bhaiya, paisa de do thoda sa, so that I can, now I have 100 models, but I need 1,000. Okay. So basically, so that I can reach to a and I can distribute stuff there also where I really want to work. Okay. So basically, for a good customer experience, you need to generate the need. You need to identify customer need. You need to pitch, the product. Okay. And you can say that you can apply design thinking to any part of your business. Okay. But when you use it to create wow-worthy customer experience, you're also designing a better business. Because without a loyal and growing customer base, you don't have a business at all. And it's never too late to start thinking like a designer. And a low risk aspect of your customer journey that causes pain, that you must identify, gather the right people to design those kind of solutions which will cater to their pain. Okay. And you are sure to discover the power and value of design thinking, my friends. Okay. Now for this particular thing, ways to generate business leads. Okay, now this is something very, very important, and I would definitely try giving you an idea. Okay, for this, I would definitely try that I give you an idea where you prioritize your audience. Okay, you must know what is your audience, which kind of audience you are catering to. Now, when you say don't be invisible, if you have a website, it's great. Okay, but millions of people also have websites. Okay, then how it is different than others, and it takes hard work and effort to stop yours from falling to the bottom of the pile. So you have to really, really work towards it. Right now, those people say that in the companies, say if you have a website and if you are writing blogs, okay, or if you're not doing anything, then people say that at least you get 70% more leads if you are at least putting up 2 blogs in a month. Okay, then people putting no blogs at all, no comments at all about their startup or about their companies doing a kind of work what they are into. Okay, then creating awareness of your brand is a very, very essential step that leads businesses into your marketing funnel. Okay, and another way to increase visibility is to create a brand personality on a social media. Now, my dear friends, it all depends what kind of business you are catering to. Okay, if it's a B2B business, then LinkedIn should be targeted. okay, where definitely people say that 80% of the leads generated through social media for B2B marketers come directly from LinkedIn. Okay, but for the B2C customers, other social media probably works better. In my case, other social media is working better because most of the programs out of the 4 business modules, 3 are B2C. Okay, and then you have to be consistent enough. There also I will give you a very good example that to be consistent, you must think of everything from visuals to your tone, your message. No one directly takes their business to a company without doing extensive internet research. You must research that what are your competitors into, okay, and how are you different than them, whether you are trying to give the same kind of product what your competitors are trying to give you, and don't leave anything to your chance. Make sure your brand is portrayed exactly as you want it to be from every angle. Okay, and for that, don't underestimate your customer service. Keep on giving well, my friends. The only way to ensure great customer service is to keep working at it and never underestimate the value of a must be very, very rather active towards, never become passive towards your loyal customers, even if they are old. Okay, and applying simple things to your website, such as automated email or live chat services, to really make it very effective. Testimonials are something which is very, very effective. Honest words of praise from your own customers will give others a reason to choose you. And finally, tend to your website that keep on updating it. If it shows 2012, okay, when somebody is just browsing through your website, and if it shows 2012 posts, then naturally it does not give a very beautiful impression, okay, at that point of time itself. Okay, so I think just one second. Yeah. Apart from this, now I would like to show you the pitching part of it. Okay, that exactly in 5 minutes, how am I able to, usually 5 to 7 minutes are given for any financial funding. Okay, my friends, for the networking organizations, it is 30 seconds, but otherwise it is around 5 to 7 seconds. You can start your watch if you wish to, and I will exactly finish it in between 5 to 7 minutes. Okay, and normally if 7 minutes are given, you should leave some space at least for a minute for people, to ask you if they have any questions. All right, so here I begin. So my company Sinotech, which is our tagline is exposure leads to exploration, and exploration to. Okay, so basically the problem statement is that teaching science in the after school programs, either they're conceptual or rote learning centers, which we typically call to be tuition classes, or as there are experimental learning centers, which are community science centers, which are equally beautiful. But children get a lot of fun, but sometimes because it is not graded, children are confused and they have no clarity. And of course, in the tuition classes or similar, so experiential learning is the only solution. So now no program which is graded does both, which is conceptual and experimental. Now our business modules we are into workshops, a year-long program, and we wanted to go virtual, which we are now as online sessions pan-India. Okay, I do workshops, which I already said that finished doing around 550 workshops. How does the learning happen in Sinotech? Whereas the complete classwork from grade 2 to grade 10 is being covered, whatever is in their textbook, irrespective of the board. They are into field trips, experts field visits. Right now we are doing online field visits also. We are into DIY kits and models and project making, and we end our program with the science carnival. Naturally, for lower grade children, craft work, clay modeling, and storytelling is the innovative idea. So here I can show it to you visually that you can see that here I'm teaching volcano, where first you experiment with a thing which children cannot handle on their own, but children will be excited enough, to ask you question, learn without them doing it. So you provide them with a material with which they can handle. Then this is the experience given to grade 4 or grade 6, 7, 8 children for a particular topic, where if you're talking about my teeth, then not only I teach, but then we take them to a field visit to a dental clinic, and where their understanding will go to a different level, and naturally they will make up a clay model where every tooth is carved in such a way that they will understand whether it has 2 roots or 1 root. Anyway, then these are the DIY kits. Don't get me wrong, but DIY kits cannot suffice the complete kind of learning, what can you say, it can just suffice it a little by whatever you are teaching in the form of a theory. Indian students theory needs to be really excellent, and that's the reason they are world over. Okay, but experiential learning, where they are trying to understand through different models like meeting up with an expert or storytelling for lower grades, you can see, and field visits are integral part of learning. They must see, parents must take their children out. And finally, communication as the part of the scientific process, it has to be communicated to the audience in the form of a project or a model, what they made. We do carnival, and we are also involved into CSR activities. We have started going to the assemblies where I talk about science and research where children are unaware of, and online workshops we are into globally now, where and also into birthday parties without any hitches, and where children are enjoying, and you can see the traction where 150 plus kids. I just started with 7 kids in my academy, and now I have 150 plus kids in my center, coming to 24 different schools and 550 plus. Very happy that we have been appreciated by different awards, and we have been blessed by the media, my friends. We have a very lively Facebook page and we upload related to science every day where children are benefited. So do go through it. Experiential learning, now it's in our education policy also. And basically, I think with this, I say that this should be my last one. Think science, think Sinotech, math and visualize Sinomath. So my dear friends, this was my 5 minutes pitch. I don't know, 5 to 7 minutes. I don't know how many minutes did it take. 30 seconds. Now the next pitch, what I would like to show would be a 30-second pitch. I think I'm about to finish. So a 30-second pitch, I would like to give an example in 2 ways. You can see that normally in any networking sites, my friends, you can always, for any networking sites, you have to, or networking organizations, you have to pitch for your company for only 30 seconds. Okay. Now, innovatively doing it for 30 seconds, exactly in 30 seconds, and still people will understand what are you into, is a very, very difficult task. Okay. So let's just start with the very first one. Okay. Wouldn't you like to develop scientific aptitude and out of the box thinking for your child? This is Megha at Sinotech, that is Sci of Science, Know of Knowledge, and Tech of Technology, an online creative science and math coaching initiative for children from standard 2 to 10 across India, combining standardized theory with experiential part in the form of DIY kits, experiments, storytelling, creative craft work, and lot more. We are starting our post-Diwali sessions from coming Monday for science and math, where sessions will last till April, till the week year. This the last chance to enroll your children for the academic year, and refer to us, parents of school going children, for them to take advantage of last opportunity of the enrollment. Think science, think Sinotech. So that is my first pitch. And the second pitch, if one time I had pitched myself, where the theme was films. Okay. And still people should be able to understand. I hope you all are able to hear me, because there is an internet connection problem, it shows. Are you able to hear me? Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Loud and clear.
Yes,
Thank you. Okay, so my dear friends, the theme was films, and trust me, this is what I had pitched. Okay, there 11 मुल्कों के पेरेंट्स ढूंढते हैं कोई साइंस मैथ कोचिंग क्लास जिसमें थ्योरी के साथ प्रैक्टिकल्स, फील्ड ट्रिप्स और प्रोजेक्ट्स भी कराया जाए, और वो भी एक पीएचडी टीचर से, पर एक जो सैटेलाइट एरिया में है, ऐसा कोई मिलना मुश्किल ही नहीं, नामुमकिन है दोस्तों। नाम तो सुना ही होगा, सारा शहर साइनोटेक और साइनोमैथ के नाम से जानता है। एक चुटकी प्रैक्टिकल और एक्सपर्ट को मिलने की कीमत तुम क्या जानो पेरेंट्स। साइनोटेक में आओ, बच्चों को लाओ और खुद जान जाओ। तो भाइयों और बहनों, my name is Sinotech and I am not a typical tuition class. So here I go, my friend.
Whoa.
So I think pitching part, thank you. And if you have any questions, my dear people, if you have any questions, you can definitely ask. And I'm very happy that I could finish what I thought of. And I'm quite in time, isn't it?
You are absolutely quite in time. It's 1:05.
No, Megha must be thinking.
You started around 12:05 and now it's 1:05.
Yes.
So sharp 60 minutes. Fantastic.
Yes,
Thank you. Thank you so much, Megha ma'am. It was wonderful. Of course, I have been with Dr. Megha for last, I guess, 3 years now, Megha ma'am. More than 3 years. And I have seen the way she takes.
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely. And this is very interesting. And guys, we all can implement our learnings. Being a scientist, whatever she teaches, it's all scientific. So if you go back and if you remember, if you have remembered a couple of, the notes that you have taken, I'm sure you should be able to implement this very, scientifically, and then, one can do it very easily. Thank you so much, Megha ma'am. It's always been pleasure to have you with us. This time we are with Ty and CD, but
yes,
हमारा नाता तो पुराना है.
Absolutely, and ये नाता तो बना ही रहेगा. And all the participants, Piyali ji, I really thank you also for this, and Tejal Ben, of course, from bottom of my heart. And I really wish कि 1 घंटे में मैं इसको न्याय दे पाई. मुझे नहीं पता है, but anyway.
See, you explored and you explored something new, right? You designed it well. This entire design thinking in 1 hour.
Thank you. That was very nice, Piyali. Anyway, so basically what happens is that this is a 3 to 5 day session, works in the form of a workshop, team exercises and all that, where you try and understand everything in detail and how you have to make your own business canvas model and what is the use of having final cost and revenue model. That is what I am also into that. So I really wish we could do those kind of programs also earlier with all 3 of you.
Megha ma'am, you are getting a great comment by Sejal Kothari. She says, thank you, Dr. Megha. It was literally, wait, somebody write that.
Revisiting a B school session in an hour.
Yeah, the B school session in an hour.
Okay. So thank you again. And at least I could justify my own startup. Do visit all of you. My dear friends who are in Ahmedabad, they can surely visit once we are offline. Okay. And online also. Pitching ekdam before we leave, I'll give you a fantastic example. Okay, in Gujarat Chamber of Commerce, once there was some meeting going on, and somebody appreciated that. आपको सबको पता है गुज्जू मसाला पता है आपको जो अहमदाबाद में रहता है उनको तो पता होगा. Okay, so there is a masala company called Guju. Okay, and she comes up with every time you go to the store and they have new packets of kadhi and instant khichdi and this and that. Okay, but trust me, that lady, ma'am Ullas Javeri, a respectable name in Ahmedabad itself, because she came up on her own. But till today, even if she comes for a meeting, in her purse, she will have a kadhi ka ya khichdi ka packet ki ye naya hai, try karna. That's the business. Okay. And for my dear friends, I was never into birthday parties. Okay. But when I went to IIT, my mentor said, my husband used to always tell me that, why will you not do the birthday party? Because I will always say that I'm an academician, I will not do that. Okay. But then my mentor said, it's a business. And it's a business vertical. Why will you not do it? Tell me. Do it your way. And now we are into it with a correct this thing that, okay, 45 minutes, but just like a workshop, no food allowed. And children have to sit nicely and see, look at this thing. And it's a birthday party. So it's like, so please be open to your business wherever you are. Okay. Whatever business you are into, never close your mind for anything कि मैं ये नहीं कर सकती हूँ. नहीं, हम कर सकते हैं. Okay, suppose online के लिए मुझे ऐसा था कि I'm not good at technology, but my all 10th grader taught me everything, and I'm trying to implement that in the lower grades, which is superb. Okay, children can teach you like it, but you should be open to learning always. Okay.
Super.
Thank you, Megha ma'am. Ladies, if you have any
somebody
questions,
is asking for number, it seems. Yeah, so I'll just this is the last slide what I was trying to show. And my dear friends, I forgot this one also. Actually, before the pitch, I had to put this one as last one, that how can I help all of you. Basically, the younger ones in this particular lot, trust me, younger or elder, there is no age to becoming an entrepreneur. As Piyali ji rightly said, I was always into teaching for 21 long years. This year I've completed 25, and since last 4 years with my new startup, I'm doing wonderful. Okay, so I will encourage all of you to come out, learn something new at any age. I can provide you all support and handholding in any way you wish me to help you. We can with things like American Corner or TIE, we can hold such chain programs and events on startups where we are trying to teach them every small aspect of even business canvas model nicely. And I can connect you all to the incubation centers where you can go to it, with you, where if you have actual innovative idea, then you can go to them and you can ask for funds. And this is the number. We have the same name, Facebook and Instagram page. So my dear people, please like it. I'm just trying to generate a business lead right here. Okay, so thank you. Anyway, so I think we are done. And yeah.
Great. Thank you so much. So ladies, it's already 1:10. If you have any questions, please put in our WhatsApp group. I had shared our WhatsApp group link. If you have still not joined, I'm copying and pasting it again. If you have any questions for Dr. Megha or Haripriya, please mention it in our WhatsApp group, and Piyali and I will make sure that you get the answers from them. So thank you so very much for joining us today. We appreciate your time, and I'm sure that both these sessions, thank you Haripriya and thank you Dr. Megha. You guys were amazing, and I think we have learned a lot. I mean, my pura ek page bhar gaya hai, which I need to think and rethink and introspect about. So thank you so much for giving us this, the lesson. Everyone, tomorrow we are having a great session. Piyali, would you like to talk about it? And then maybe quickly we can end the session here. Piyali, you are on mute.
Yes, so sorry. So tomorrow we'll see you all at 11 o'clock. The topic is going to be creating your social media presence. So that's the only topic for tomorrow. And it's going to be, the speaker is Mr. Hiren Modi. He is he's a founder of the company called Commerce Fundit, and they are into digital marketing. So the entire 2 hours will be dedicated to this topic. So, after their presentation, we'll have time to do discussions, and I'm sure many of you are, already into digital space. So I think we'll, have a good discussion tomorrow as well.
Please be ready with your questions. If you have any questions, or if you're facing any difficulties, or if you have any ideas, maybe definitely we can share with the speaker, and we'll take their advice on how we can improve on ourselves. Thank you so very much, everyone.
Have a good afternoon.
Take care, stay safe, stay home.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Dr. Megha. Thank you, Haripriya.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. You have to leave the room, otherwise we won't be able to take you in tomorrow.